All right, can you hear me now? I'm talking away. No wonder nobody answered me when I said hello. All right, is that better? Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, let's start over again. So, hello. How is everybody? Hope you guys are doing all right. Thanks for coming out. You know, we're going to be doing Illustrator today. We're getting into Illustrator, so it's important that you actually came out and, you know, listen to the stream, so that's good. So we're getting into Illustrator, right? And when we first came together, we were talking about the difference between raster and vector-based programs, right? Adobe Photoshop is a raster-based program which is based up of many different pixels of many different colors to create your image, whereas vector-based programs is based on anchor points and math, right? And the benefit of using vector anything is because it's resizable. And it's resizable in a way that has absolutely nothing to do with pixelization. So if you have something that's a 4x4, so a 4" by 4" square, right, a rectangle or whatever, and then you're like, I want to make this 4 miles by 4 miles, you can do that with a vector-based program. You cannot do that with a raster-based program. I mean, you could make it that big, but then it's just going to be very pixelated. So what you want to do as a graphic designer is to be able to do as much as possible with a raster-based program. I mean, a vector-based program, because it allows you to resize it and you can make stuff bigger and smaller and not lose any of the quality that you've put in. Works really well with font, because if you're like, oh, well, this is too small, let me just make it bigger. And then you're like, oh, well, it's too big, let me make it smaller, let me rotate it, let me make it bigger. When you're doing all that kind of stuff with a raster-based program, it's always calculating those pixels. And because of that, you will start getting pixelization, which makes it look blurry, right? And I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen flyers and posters and all kinds of stuff like that that is blurry. And that's because they're using a raster-based program that isn't helping them keep everything nice and crisp and clean, okay? Now, Illustrator is owned by Photoshop, so pretty much all of the key commands are the same, okay? So as long as you remember the shortcut keys for Photoshop, you pretty much know the shortcut keys for Illustrator. Okay? Now, the things that we are gonna go over, okay, are the simple ones, the most basic ones, okay? So it's actually going to be real easy, hopefully, to remember and be able to do your assignment. Okay? Excuse me. Alright. So, things that you really need to know. Okay, so this is still your toolbar, right? There we go. And the things that you will be using is the black arrow, the white arrow, the pen tool, right? Those are the ones that we're going to be focusing on. There's a lot more, obviously, as you can see. There's paintbrush, text tool, rotation tool, zoom in. There's all kinds of special things that you can use, eyedroppers, just like in Photoshop. But the thing we're going to focus on is the black tool, the black arrow, the white arrow, the pen tool, okay? And then these boxes right here. This is very important, okay? So, as you see here, over here, right, by the white box, there are two different boxes. One is a solid box, and one is like a square donut with a hole in it, okay? So the solid box is known as your fill, okay? And so what that means is when you have a shape, it's going to fill that shape, okay? For instance, if I take this shape, I'm going to go here and get rid of that first. So if I take that shape and give it a color, right? So I have a color. If I make a shape, right, it fills it with that color, okay? And that's it. So if you make a shape, if you create a shape, if you use a shape tool, it's going to make everything in that shape a certain color, okay? And that's it. That's what the fill is. But what's great about it is if you click it and you come in here and you click something else, you can click a different color, click blue, Bam, and it instantly changes everything in that shape. Okay? So that's really good stuff, really easy. This is your fill box. You need to remember that this is your fill. Okay? Now, the other one, the square donut, right? That is known as the stroke. All right? Most of you will just call it an outline, and that's exactly what it is, right? It is the outline around your shape. Okay? So, if we have a red fill and this blue stroke, when I make my shape again, okay, and we take this off. Alright, zoom in a little bit. Alright, you see? It creates that blue stroke. Alright? Now, the best part about that is if you select it, if you look over on your right, yes, this will be available later. All the streams are up on YouTube, but I'll make sure to put this one into the discussion board for you. But if you look over here, where it says appearance, right? There's the thing called the stroke, and then there's an up and down arrow, right? So if you go up, see? And those are by pixels, so you can make them bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And there you go. There's a stroke. You can click on this, and you can come over here to appearance, and you can change the color as well. You're like, no, I want that to be this color, or that color, this color. Okay? Here, you can really just go around. Right? So you do everything from the appearance bar. You can also drop the opacity from here. Right? Okay? So that's your fill. Okay? So the full box on your toolbar is your fill. That is what your shape is going to be filled with. And then the square donut is called the stroke, which is the outline, which will go around your shape, which you can then manipulate as far as making it thinner or bigger and making it fit for what you want. Okay? Now, I'm going to... There are times when you're like, well, I really don't want this fill. I mean, I don't want the fill. I just want a stroke. Or I don't want the stroke. I just want a fill. Right? And there's a way to get rid of that. So whatever one you are on, so whichever one is up front, okay, whichever one is up front will be the one that you're affecting right away. Okay? And because of that, if you see this one right here, right, it's a white box with a red line through it. And that means that it's going to switch things off. So if I click it, oh, let's click on this. So if I click it with something selected, right, now it's gone away. And why that's important, right, it's not filled with white. It doesn't have anything there. Okay, so watch. So if we make this a different color so you can really see it. There. Make that blue. Unselect. Unselect. Now we're going to change the color to green. Okay. Come to the marquee tool. And now if I go make another shape, okay, right, you see, so it's because I do not have a fill, you can see the shape behind it. Okay, does that make sense? If you have the red line through your fill or your stroke, then it's not there. It's just not there. It's not filled with white. It is just not there. Okay? Is that making sense so far? Anyone broken yet? Alright, so now you'll probably be tempted when you're looking down at these three boxes underneath the stroke and fill, and you see one that's a gradient, right? We're not doing gradients, but that's all it does, right? It makes a gradient. You can change it, you can rotate it, you can make it spiral, you can do all kinds of things with your gradient. You can add color, okay? So, if you come in there, you're like, I want a color, right? So then you can add color, and you can change it, you move it around and all that good stuff. But we're really not trying to, use a gradient, okay? But it is there. And then the one at the very end is your full color, okay? So if you have that one selected, you'll have a color. If you have the white box with a red line through it, you will have nothing selected. I mean, you'll have nothing showing, right? So you can come back to your fill, right? And then when you click on it, it instantly changes it. And then you can change the color and be like, all right, great. That's what I want. Okay? But as you can see here, if you use a fill, it is going to fill the entire space. So you will not be able to see the thing in the background. Okay? Now, with Illustrator, a lot of things happen in shapes, right? So if you've ever made a collage before, you understand it's like one thing here, one on top of the other, right? But you can move stuff forward and backwards, okay? It's pretty simple. You select, all right, so you need the selection tool, okay? So there are two different selection tools, which I'll get into in a second. But you make your selection, right? And you're like, that one's in the back. Go to Object, Arrange, Bring Forward. Right, and so now this one is in front of that one. Okay, you can also send it backwards. It's the same process. You select it, Object, Arrange, Send to the back. Okay, so there's two things that you would see there: send backwards and then send to the back. Send backwards means whatever your stack is, it's going to send it one shape back, and one shape back, and one shape back. But if you say send it to the back, it sends it all the way to the end, and every other object is on top of it. And it works the same way with forward. So it's bring it to the front, brings it all the way to the front of the object stack, and bring it forward, brings it one shape at a time forward. Okay? Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are two separate selection tools. Okay? Very important, and this is what makes Illustrator so unique, is that you're able to affect anchor points, okay? So the black arrow is just a regular selection tool. It is V, shortcut key is V, all right? So if I come in and I select a shape, okay, you see how it has these anchor points here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Do you see that? So there's 8. And what this does is it manipulates those within the confines of the the rectangle square shape that it can make. Okay? It allows you to move it. All right? Up, down, you can shrink it, and you can move stuff with these anchor points. Okay? And then the direct selection tool, which is the white one, okay, the white one, when you select it, see how everything disappeared? So here it's like, all right, all my anchor points are selected at the same time. I will affect all my anchor points all at the same time, right? But if I go to the direct selection tool, click on it, now I have 4 main anchor points at this point, right? Then if I click on one of those anchor points, see how it lit up? Let's get a little closer so you can see it. See how it lights up just a little bit? Right? You click on the anchor point and now that's selected. Now I can actually move, whoops. I can actually move that one anchor point. Okay? So I got that one selected. I can come in here and move that one anchor point to give myself the ability to make whatever shape I want. Then you can click on another anchor point. And you can just move this around however you want. Okay? That's the difference between the two anchor points. I mean, the two selection tools. One selection tool is solely there to move the entire object and affect the entire object. The other one, which is the direct selection tool, affects the anchor points. Okay? It affects only the anchor points. Right? Any questions so far? Anyone? Questions? Thoughts, comments? No? You guys got it? You guys are awesome sauce? It's a quiet bunch today? Okay. Wait, no you don't have it, or no you don't have any questions? Let's see, not sure. V didn't know you were to follow. Not sure. Didn't know we were to follow. You don't have to follow. You could just be taking notes. You know, or, I mean, in the end, you can just wait until the stream's over and then watch it as many times as you want to. How did you get the boxes in? So, there's a shape tool, a rectangle tool. Right, it allows you to do different type of shapes. Right, so all I did, I used the rectangle tool. That's it. Okay, but what we're really going to be focusing on, in order to make shapes is the pen tool. Okay, pen tool's P, and it's real simple. Really, really simple to use a pen tool, right? You can click, 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 click. And the whole thing is that you want to make sure, P as in pen. But you want to make sure that when you're making these shapes, right, that you come back to close your shape, right? When you come back to close your shape and you go back to the very first anchor point, a little circle will come around saying that you are connected and it is complete, right? So you just click it and now you have a shape. So if you go to the selection tool V, right, you can move it around. Okay? You can also come to the direct selection tool, which is A, click on the anchor point, and then you can manipulate that anchor point. Okay? But the pen tool is very easy, right? Oh, we're making circles already. Why are we making circles? No, wrong tool. Okay, pen tool. Right, the pen tool is really easy. You just make nice shapes. And the one thing that you can do, you know, you see how it was constantly creating color, right? It's like, oh, well, that's because you have this fill, right? And as we talked about earlier, if you click this little box down here, the white box with the red line through it, you can get rid of it. So you can still create shapes. All right? and then go, all right, that's exactly what I was looking for, and then you'll be fine. But the problem is when you click off of it, you don't see it, right? Now, whoops. You can always come to your selection tool, select in that area, and it'll highlight it, okay? And the best part is, at this point, if you go, all right, I selected that, come to your stroke, give it a color, and go, all right, right? And so now you see the stroke, right? I generally, when I make my shapes, I work in stroke, right? And so I just come in, I'm like, all right, bam, great, made my shapes, right? And then I can always come in with my regular selection tool, select it, all right? Come over here, give it a color. All right, great. All right? Keeping them separate is very important like that. But you're probably going, well, that's all nice and dandy, but all of these are just regular, angular shapes. How am I supposed to make a circle? All right, how do I make a curve? Well, your regular pen tool allows you to do that. Here's the cool part. So if you click, come over and click again, and while you still have the click held, right? So you pushed the click, you held it down, and then now you pull, right? And you get these really cool antennae that pop out, right? See that? And so then if you're going the opposite way, click again. All right, so you can constantly make these like circles. But I don't know if you're seeing these loops, right? Like sometimes it'll loop over itself, and we don't want that, right? We don't want that. So if we go here, make my circle, right? I've got that. The one thing you want to do in order to keep making a curve without it getting this weird loop in it is you click that anchor point. The last one that you made, you click right in the middle, and it gets rid of the one anchor point. So now you could even make a straight line, right? Straight line, right? Then you come back, click on that anchor point over here. Alright, so now we have, the front of a car or something, right? And now, even though you have these curves, you can still manipulate them, right? So if you come to the direct anchor point selection or the direct selection tool, you can click on these anchor points. So you click on the anchor point, and then you go to the actual antenna, right? And so then you can manipulate the antenna. Oops. Like, oh my goodness. Manipulate the antenna. There we go. All right, so you could drop it down like so. And then you can still affect that anchor point and pull it, raise it, right? You still have that ability. Okay, so there's really not a shape that is outside of what you can and can't do. Right? You just have to be willing to go ahead and keep trying and then manipulating these spaces and like, all right, that's not good. I need this here. I need to make this over here. All right? I need to pull this one down. All right? And then you can have whatever shape you want. Okay? And then once it's selected, come in here and go like, I want it to be red. I want it to be red with a stronger stroke. Right? Good? You got that? See that? And if you look at, okay, as we get closer and closer, there are no pixels, right? What you're seeing is the screen, but there are, we're zoomed in 8,500%. and we can keep going, and it's always the same, right? It's always going to be the same because it is literally just math. Okay, so there are no pixels, it's just math and going, all right, from here to here, fill it in. Okay. All right, and so what you should do when you get a chance is to just go ahead and play around with it. All right, before you jump into what I'm about to show you. All right, I'm going to show you this little assignment that you can do, and I just want to make sure that you guys know what you're doing, or play around with the software just so you can see, because what we're doing is very simple. Right, it's just getting you used to Illustrator, because we don't have a lot of time left in the semester. And so we're going to keep it simple, but still so that you can understand and use Illustrator. Okay? And right now it's all about building shapes. Okay? Are there any questions? Okay, if we were going further, you know, I'd start telling you about the layers that are here. You know, how you can utilize layers so that you can really control what's in the front and in the back and stuff like that. It's very helpful, but time constraints and what has happened, we're going to stick to the basics, okay? Actually, you will still have to do a layer, but you all know how to do a layer, okay? So this is what we're going to be doing next, or this is your assignment here. Okay, I've put it under course content. It's like I put it under course content, and so you should be able to see it, download it. It's an Illustrator file. Download it, upload it, and we're gonna make the word vector. Okay, and it tells you, right? Here's the legend. Click. All right, tells you how to do it, but first thing you got to do, go to your layers panel, create a new layer. Alright, so we're like, alright, layer 7. Right? And you can lock everything else just like everywhere else. Right? Okay, and so now we're going to go to our pen tool. Alright, and we're going to start. And if you zoom in, right, it's very good. You zoom in, it tells you exactly where to go. Okay? So we're just going to go with that. And we're going to start here right in the middle and click. You can hold shift, right, and it'll give you straight lines. And you're going to click. All right? Click. 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 And click. Alright? Alright, we did the V. Yes! Okay. Really only gets complicated once you get to the C and O. But we're going to do this one, okay? And it's telling you the steps. You went to 8, so now you got to go to 9. Start in the middle. You can hold shift if you want to. Right? It tells you, click to begin. Bam, I started my path. Hold shift and click. Okay? Click, hold shift and click. Click, 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 click. Right? It's really easy with these. Click. And bam. Then we have that done, right? So now we have 2 things done. Okay? Now's where it becomes complicated, right? When you're trying to do these curves. Very, very important, okay? So then we ended on 21. So we're going to go to 21. Okay? This is making you do it a little bit different, all right? So we want to click here. It's telling you to come up here. All right, so if I click, let's see, where does it want me to end? 36. It wants me to end here. Okay, so if I click here, and then I click over here, and I click and I drag it up. Nope. Okay. It really doesn't want me to. Ah! Sorry. Here, 21, 22. Alright, click to begin a new path. Click. Hold and drag it up. Click, drag up to here. Okay. Click. Alright, so now, so we dragged it up here, right? And then we come over here, click, hold shift, and pull down, right? Till you get to that circle. Let go. Okay. Then you're going to keep coming down. Right, 23 to here, now released. Release, right? 23, 24, hold shift and click and drag. Click and drag till we get to here. Now release, and it comes here, right? Click, shift and drag. Click, right? And then you got to come here. This is where it becomes tricky, right? All you have to do is come back to this anchor point, click it, shift, alright? Then we come here, hold shift, bring this down. Oh! Right? Then we come over here, click, hold shift, bring it up where it tells you to. Right? Then we're coming here, click, click, and we got the curve again. We're gonna come here, click, shift, bring it down, click on that, and then close out the shape. Bam! Right? And then you have a seat. Right? So all you really have to do is follow the instructions, and you'll be able to instantly figure out how to do vector. Right? And then you can come in, select, and now you can play around with your color. Like, I want this to be green. I want this one to be red. Right? And the best part about it is, since you have these shapes, you can just keep changing it. Right? And you will notice that it has a stroke. Right? It has an outline on it, so it makes it nice, clean, clear. So if you were to get rid of it, right? There you go. That's how nice and clean it's going to look. Does that make sense? And then you're going to go all the way, and you're just going to do all a vector. Okay? Excuse me. Any questions? Anyone? You guys just masters at it? You know how to do it? What's the whole point? I don't know what you mean. What's the whole point? What's the point of doing vectors? What's the point of doing this? what should I say? Purpose. You mean of doing this? What's the purpose of doing this? It's to help you learn how to use Illustrator. Yeah, it's to help you learn Illustrator. Right? To understand how to make curves, how to make shapes, how to make sure that it works well, because if not, you get weird, you get weird little notches in things, and then when you're trying to make logos and stuff, right, it doesn't work the way you need it to, and you don't know why. The big difference between Photoshop and Illustrator? I'm confused on what you're asking me. If you can elaborate on what you mean, I'll gladly answer your question. I just really don't know what it is you're asking me right now. On the C, it is showing me an anchor point to curve a line. Yes. Okay, could you do all this in Photoshop? Yes. Yes, you can. The big difference is that Photoshop is a raster-based program, right? Everything is based off of pixels. Okay, so remember when I said, oh, I'm zooming in, okay, right? So if I zoom in here, let's get rid of this though. So if I zoom in here, right? So we're at, what are we at? 6,400% zoom in, right? Here's Photoshop. Let's do something that's a little, sorry, it's from my other class. So, okay, so we have something like this, right? This image technically is bigger than the image over at Illustrator, but okay, see how it's getting blurry, right? You can even see the blocks, and that's just at 1,600% zoom in. Okay, so you start seeing that these are different colors, right? Trying to make up this black. So if you're ever trying to scale something up or scale it down, it doesn't work. Right? I mean, it works, but it gets pixelated. Whereas, you know, when you look at something like this and you're like, okay, this is the size, 100% size, that's where it stops, that's where it's going to look the cleanest. Maybe 200 we can get away with, but then if you're trying to zoom in, it doesn't work because it starts getting pixelated. Or if you're trying to make it smaller, it doesn't work because it's getting pixelated. Okay? So that's the reason why you would go to Illustrator, because of this crisp, clean line that you can manipulate however you need to, and the crispness of it does not disappear. Right? And there are people who are doing full-on illustrations with Illustrator, and because of that, they are able to make it into like murals, and they can get it printed out on huge sheets of paper, and not a single thing will be distorted. Whereas, you know, they made it maybe this big. They're like, we made it this big, but now it's an entire city block, right? And you can't do that with Photoshop. So that's why we're doing Illustrator, because this is the graphic designer's tool, because when you make a logo, you're not making it for a bus, right? You're making it for a business card. And then when someone's like, sweet, I want to put this on the bus because I want to promote my business, then you can't do it because you need it to be 3 feet big, right? And Photoshop will not do that, but Illustrator will. Okay? It's not showing me the anchor point to curve the line. It's not? Okay. Alright. So, you're supposed to start... So with the C, I'm going to start a new layer. Okay? With the C. So we're all looking at the same C, right? So if we go here, it starts here. So you're going to click and go up to there. Right? Click and go up. Okay, let's try it again. So you're going to click, right? And go up. Ugh. Sorry, wrong buttons. Click and go up. Right? Let go, and then it instantly curves it. And then you come over here, click, pull down, holding shift, right? And then you let go. And then you come down, click, shift, down, then it insta curves it, right? Click, shift, pull up, right? And then this is when you get this, right? Okay, and all you really have to do is just click back on that anchor point. It tells you some other stuff, but the easiest way is just to click down on this anchor point, right? And then you come over here, go ahead and hold shift, right? Click, click, and then, whoops, yeah, sorry. Right, so then you click and you just bring this out here. Just click, hold shift, bring it up to there. Okay, then you come here, click, hold shift, bring it up to that dot there. Then we got the curve. Come over here, click, hold shift, bring it back down, right, to that dot. Right, and you still have this weird thing. Once again, you can do this, so you can hold it and shift and click option or alt, but all you have to really do is come back to the anchor point, click it so it gets rid of one of those antenna, then come over and close it and close the shape. Okay? Make sense? Is it working? You understand? Does that work better now? Anyone else having any problems? That's why I want here. Vector with an O. Anyone else? Questions? Comments? Anyone? You guys see it? You get it? Understand it? I'm not getting a line. You have to click first. So when you click... Oh, you're not seeing a line? So if you're not seeing it, you need to come over here. Right? In your toolbar, at the two boxes at the bottom. And the square donut, right? The square that has a hole in it that looks like a donut. You want to click on that and make sure it's a color. I use black. So you don't see the color? Yeah. Come over here to the toolbar and make sure that the square that has a hole in it, the square that has a square hole, has a color in it. Then you should be fine. Hey Franklin, what am I making? We're introducing Vector to my students. So, or introducing Illustrator to my students. So we're showing them about the pen tool, how it works, and why Vector is different than raster programs. So, guys, I'm going to let you guys do this worksheet, okay? So, I want you to do it. I would like to see you do it 3 or 4 times, right? But I can't see you do it, so we're going to have you turn in one, just so that I know that you've done it at least once. I'm going to have you turn it in once, and then next class, I'm going to show you how to get started on your final, okay? It's not going to kill you. It's not the original final, right? But time constraints has pushed us to... I'm moving down the line, but I'm not making you go all the way to your final. Okay? So it got adjusted. And so that way, you know, you can play around with this, get used to the program, get used to the toolbar. Try and get used to these things, and then I'm going to show you a different way to make, or I'm going to show you your final and how to go about making that happen. Okay? That makes sense? Pen. Okay, should be on the pen tool. Yep. Press P for the shortcut. P for pen. Am I supposed to tell you about the Redemption Project right now? Alright. Redemption Project, you have to cell shade a picture with 2 comic characters in it. Okay? And it cannot be cartoon characters. Can't be cartoon characters. It has to be comic characters. Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, the X-Men, anything like that. Right? So it's a little bit more complicated than, say, Bugs Bunny. Right? Don't want Bugs Bunny or Pikachu or anything like that. We want something where you actually have to think about what you're going to do. Okay? That's it. 2 characters, cell shading, done. Redemption Project. Okay, and what the redemption is going to do, it's going to allow me to grade it's going to allow me to grade one of your assignments that is a 0, right? So if you missed something, or you didn't turn it in, or you forgot to put your name on it, or whatever the case may be, I'll be able to grade it, right? So that'll give you full grade. And if you're like, well, I've turned everything in and I'm awesome, I just want extra credit, there'll be extra credit if you do it. Okay, so it's for everybody. If you're already on top and you're just like, man, I just want my grade to be a little bit better, you can get extra credit. Or if you're like, man, I forgot to turn in this assignment, or I was late, or whatever, and therefore I got a 0 on this project, you can do the redemption project, and then I'll grade the other assignment. Okay? Now, if you turned it in and it was late, right, I'll switch your grade. But if you didn't turn it in at all, you still need to turn in that project. Okay? So this is not replacing whatever project you missed. It is just allowing me to grade the assignment that you were supposed to already do. Good? Questions? Comments? While you guys are thinking about what's going on, I'll do something in Photoshop. I lit something up. Still having trouble with the bottom of the C. Do you want me to do it again? All right. All right, new layer. Turn this off. Turn that one off. Okay. Oh my goodness. Don't do that. Okay. Live real quick. Alright, so you're having problems with the bottom of the C. Okay. So we're going to grab the pen tool. P for pen tool, right? And then we're going to start here. By number see, it's 26. Alright, starting here. So we want to go here. Oh wait, no, 21. Sorry. I'm making stuff up. Alright, start here. 21, right? Here, right? Let go. It's bringing this curve, right? So all I did was I clicked, I pulled up, curve. Come here, click, shift, pull. Right? And we keep going down to here, click, shift, pull down to the green. And come here, click, shift, hold up to the green. Right? Then I come back and I click this anchor point. I'm going to come here and I'm going to make this point. And then I'm going to click it again. I'm going to click that anchor point one more time. And then I'm going to pull it down to there. Right? Click, hold shift, pull it down. And that's what's going to give me this curve. Come here, click, pull up. Right? Come to here, click, hold shift, pull up. That's what gives me this curve. Click, hold shift, pull down, and then click on that anchor point, close out the C. Okay? One more time. Alright, I'm going to start here. Click, hold shift, pull up to the green dot. Let go. Come to 22. Click, hold shift, pull up. Alright, you're going to the green dot. Let go. Come to 24. Click, hold shift, pull down to the green dot. 26. Click, hold shift, pull up to 27. Right? Then I come down and I click on that anchor point, right? Click. Then I move over 28, click once, and I click again, I click and I hold shift, and then I pull it down to the green dot. And that's what gives me that curve. Come to 30, click, hold shift, pull it up. Right? Come to this one, click, hold shift, pull it up. That's what gives me the curve. Come over to the last, second to last dot, click, pull it down. Whoops, not that far. Right? Then I come to this anchor point, click it, come to 21 again, close it. Bam. C. Hey, what's up, Gabe? One whole C. What's up, Google? Yep. Teaching them Illustrator. I'm trying to. Right? Getting into that last little bit. You remember this one, Gabe. Or at least you should. Alright guys, do you have any other questions? Did that work? You got it now? Alright, and then once again, if you have it selected, you can just come in here and change the color. Right? Hey Trap, thanks for the follow. Any questions, guys? Questions? Wow. Nope. We good? You guys good? Because if you guys got nothing, right? If you understand it, you got it good. Remember, this is still going to be on YouTube, so you'll be able to check it out. You know, if you're having problems, you can come back to it. You can check it out as many times as you need to. I want you to do this. I will be putting up an assignment to see that you actually finish this vector spot assignment. And then on Monday, we'll jump into your final. Are we still allowed to do missing color wheels, or do I have to do... Gotta do the redemption project. Gotta do the redemption project. Any other questions? I'll switch back over here just in case, right until last minute. vectors set. Nope. Awfully quiet. No one else? As you all know, you can find me on the discussion board if you need to, or if you need to send me an email, please do, and I'll gladly help you out. Vectors due on Monday, right? You gotta have it done before Monday, right? It worked, thank you. Awesome. I'm glad. Glad that it worked out. Anyone else? Sorry, I played it back 5 times. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. That's why it's going to be there, and that's why I'll make sure to put, once it's done processing, I'll actually put it up in the discussion board, in the archive thread, so that way this will be there for you. Okay? All right. Great. So, like I said, your assignment is to do this. I'll put it up in assessment so that you can actually drop it in there and get credit for it. Please be there on Monday. I mean, same thing is going to happen, right? I can leave it there and you can rerun it all you need to, but I will be going over your final, how you have to do it, and let you guys be off and running, right? So Monday's a good assignment, is a good day to be there. But yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions, I will let you go so that you can catch in on your other classes and stuff like that. And yeah, I will see you then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my end screen on, but I'll stay in chat for a couple more minutes just in case you think of something, okay? And then I'll text you guys back. All right? So have a great weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay productive. And I'll see you guys in the next class. Take care.